next part because our girl is starting to get angry. She's like pissed. And I understand, ma'am. Like, there's no fucking way. Okay. Chapter 8. The rest of the day passed in a haze of bitter disappointment for Scarlet. She skipped lunch in the Celestial Cafe and filled her stomach with cocoa moons and gloranges from the Starling Academy orchard instead. Since Starland fruit grew back, full and ripe, as soon as it was picked, Scarlet didn't have to worry about taking too much or getting in trouble for it. Skipping class was another story. That wasn't as easy to do, so Scarlet sat through hers, hood pulled down in the farthest back of the corner of each room. She barely listened to the lessons, though, since what did they matter to her now? Did she even want to go to Wish World to grant wishes? The more she thought about it, who cared? So, as Professor Andromedus Galapaz droned on about the enlightenment and literature of the day, Scarlet drafted a hollow message to her parents, begging them to take her somewhere, since they didn't exactly have a home. Dear Mom and Dad, wherever you are, please come and get me, as soon as you possibly can, or if you're too busy, feel free to send a star car and I will come to you. It's taken me almost 3 star years, but I finally see that I was wrong and you were right. I was lucky to be able to travel all around Starland with you, having tutors instead of teachers who think that they're so shiny and bright at some silly, snooty school full of starlings who act like they're the center of the whole universe. I made a tremendous mistake applying to Starling Academy. I wasn't meant to grant wishling wishes. Never mind what I said about hating the idea of a family trio. I was wrong. Take me back, please, so I can play the drums with you. Love and stars, Scarlet. She read it over, raised her finger, and sighed and hit delete. You like to go, Scarlet? Huh? Scarlet heard her name and looked up. Professor Galapagos was staring at her. So was the rest of the class. Open holobooks hovered in front of everyone but Scarlet. Their text projected into the air. You raised your hand. You like to read aloud next? What? No, sir. I didn't mean to. Scarlet looked at her finger, which was still in the air, then back at the teacher in front of the room. His bald head gleamed like an ice-covered summit of crystal mountains. His face was as round as a star ball and just as bright. When he wore dark robes, as he usually did, it was almost as if the moon was up there teaching the class. Mean to? A mere technicality. Some things are written in the stars. Please, Scarlet, enlighten us. Just pick up where Leona concluded, if you don't mind. Scarlet panicked slightly, and her eyes cut to her old roommate, whose seat was always front and center in every room, like she was a curly-haired sun for the world to orbit. She opened her holobook and projected a page. She had no idea if it was the right one. Before she could read, though, and know for certain, the image in front of her blinked. The page changed, and Scarlet sensed Leona looking at her with a half-smile on her bright golden-flecked face. You owe me! Scarlet had barely escaped from Constellation Classroom 315 when a voice behind her made her stop. What? She knew the voice before she turned. Still, she hadn't expected Leona's expression, which was somewhere between please don't leave me and gotcha. You owe me, Leona repeated. Star salutations, Scarlet said. Leona had been unexpectedly generous in giving Scarlet the correct page number, she supposed. She bowed and reluctantly worked to soften her permanent frown. But Leona shook her head. I don't want your salutations. Then what do you want? Leona crossed her tawny, sparkling arms over her gold mesh tunic. I want you to come back to the band. Oh. Scarlet jammed her hands in the pockets of her hoodie. Star apologies. No can do. Besides, have you happened to notice you have a new roommate? Ophelia? She could feel her cheeks glowing hotter and hotter. I'm not a star darling anymore. Leona shrugged. Who said you had to be one? You did. I'm pretty sure. Did I? Leona squeezed one eye shut, trying to remember. Well, if I did, then I changed my mind. Great. Then find one of your other high drawings of student Find one of the other Hydrons of students here to be your drummer, because I'm not interested, Scarlet said. Oh, come on, Leona groaned. Stop pounding already and just come back. At least until Starshine Day so we can win the battle of the bands. Scarlet laughed. You're hysterical, you know that, Leona. She shook her head in disbelief. Do you honestly think I care about one proton about... You think I care one proton about some Starling Academy battle of the bands? Or if the Star Darlings win? Especially after the way you wrote me off the Moogle you found out I wasn't a Star Darling anymore. How about I put this in your own words? The ones you said when I came to you then. I don't give a star. How's that, Now you know how it feels. Leona stood there, her glow visibly faded. She clearly didn't know what to say. Scarlet would have been happy with a simple star apologies, but that was a lot to ask, she guessed. Or was it? Leona's golden lips slowly opened and a word began to form. Beep! She jumped as the sudden sound of her star zap and quickly pulled it open. Whatever the holotext said, it made her eyes pop, and whatever word she had primed disappear. Gotta fly! What happened? Asked Scarlet. Leona paused. It's Ophelia, she began. Then she checked herself and turned away. What about her? Scarlet went on, but by then, Leona was gone. If Leona had any idea Scarlet was following her, she didn't let on. When it was clear that she was headed to Lady Stella's office, Scarlet hung back a little more. She hugged the cool marble wall at the end of the corridor and watched Leona and the other Star Darlings file over the threshold. Then, just as the door started closing, Scarlet slightly stepped through. The Star Darlings were all so excited, no one took notice of the pink-tinged shadow making its way to the back of the room. Scarlet slid into the corner, behind a potting boing tree. The branches were far enough apart for Scarlet to peek through, but full enough of bright color-changing leaves to serve as an excellent screen. She looked for Lady Stella, but couldn't see her. The Star Darlings seemed surprised by her absence as well, and stood chattering anxiously instead of taking seats around the large full moon. The large full moon-shaped table in the center of the room, as they normally do. When Lady Stella finally entered through the hidden door in the back of her office, which led to the Star Darling's secret star caves, her face wore uncharacteristic lines. She paused to consider every Star Darling, gazing deeply into each pair of eyes. What's up? Gemma blurted. Gemma! Her sister Tessa elbowed her in the ribs. I'm afraid, Lady Stella began, that something quite troublesome is up. There are problems with this latest mission. What kind of problems? Sage asked with a flash. The same kind of problems we've had before? I'm afraid not, said Lady Stella. These are far graver. Ophelia's wish orb has gone black. An unidentified gas whooshed through the room as if every air molecule was sucked out. From the shadows, Scarlet watched the stunned Star Darlings grab and squeeze one another's hands. A black wish orb meant not only a failing mission, but the potential loss of a Starling as well. So what do we do? Said Leona. Someone has to help her. Yes, someone does, Lady Stella agreed. I'll go, said Leona. I'm ready right now. I can do it this time. Send me. She moved towards Lady Stella, but the headmistress motioned her back. Star salutations, Leona, for your generous offer. But what? I can't go because I failed my mission, but I thought you said that wasn't my fault. No, it's not that, Leona, Lady Stella assured her. Calmly, she waved the sparks that were sputtering out of Leona's ears. I'm afraid only a wish orb can pick who goes, as on every other mission when help is required. This situation, of course, is far more dire, but the same procedure is required. Then Lady Stella reached into the folds of the long silver robe she wore. Damn it. In her hand sat Ophelia's wish orb. Each time before, when Lady Stella had gathered them to see who the wish orb would choose to help grant the wish, the orb had lost some of its glow, but this orb smoldered dully like a lump of crater coal. It was the ugliest thing Scarlet, or any other Starling, had ever seen in her life. Lady Stella spread her fingers and let the orb rise and hover between her and the Starlings after a Moogle and the Star Darlings. After a moogle, it began to move, slowly drifting past each glittering, worried face in search of the one it would choose. "Where's it going?" asked Vega as it floated up to her last, then swerved. "It's not choosing any of us. It's flying away. It's trying to get out of the room." "No, it's not," said Cassie, pointing. "Look, it's headed to the corner over there, toward that kaleidoscope tree." Sure enough, it was. Scarlet watched it approach, just as confused as everyone else. As it reached the tree and stopped, however, she understood at once. "It chose me." Scarlet stepped out from behind the tree, beaming. It was the first smile she worn in Star Days. She almost forgotten how smiling felt. In her palm rested the wish orb, which had firmly settled there as soon as she held out her hand. "What the stars?" exclaimed Gemma. Tessa was too shocked to respond to her sister with her usual reproach. "That's impossible," said Leona. "She's not a Star Darling anymore." And yet, Lady Stella glided towards Scarlet, wearing an expression of not unhappy surprise. "Scarlet, I do not know how you got here, but Ophelia's wish orb has indeed chosen you, and it is you who must go help Ophelia and hopefully make the wish come true." Chapter 9. I will see you guys next time.